What happens when we lose hope without even noticing? I have read hundreds of stories, studies, and testimonies. The truth is as simple as it is unsettling. Every one of us is at risk of losing it without even realizing. This process is devastating. It is silent, invisible, and utterly imperceptible at first. Perhaps you won't notice today, but soon enough you might wake up one morning to discover that the sense of purpose you thought you had has vanished, slipping away like sand through your fingers. And this loss won't be just yours, it will ripple outward, touching those around you, gradually threatening their will to live as well. By the end of this video, you will understand how to halt this descent before it becomes your new normal. Because trust me, if you let this go unchecked, it will become your daily nightmare, one from which there is no easy escape. Let me tell you a story. Once I met a little girl named Mia. She had hair soft as cotton and eyes that sparkled with curiosity and almost poetic innocence. She had never received proper guidance because, after all, what good is an education when your parents fail to even earn that title? Mia dreamed of saving lives, but the rosy world she believed in soon faded, leaving behind only a dull reflection of what it once was. By the time she reached high school, she convinced herself that enduring everything was the way forward. A failing grade? Not a problem. Harsh words? Ignored. Yet, her heart quietly tallied every imperfection. Will I ever be enough? She would ask herself. Perfectionism soon crept in. Every mistake felt like failure. Every achievement seemed insignificant. She became trapped in a relentless cycle of impossible decisions, incapable of pausing. Meanwhile, she neglected herself. Her work, her sleep, and even her mental well-being spiraled out of control. Eventually, monotony consumed her. Days blurred into one another, and the sadness deepened the divide between her and those who cared for her. Her home became a prison. And as for Mia, she could no longer even remember when she lost control. Do you want to know how her story ends? It doesn't end well. But I'll get to that later. For now, let me explain what I'm trying to say. Hope doesn't vanish all at once. No, it's far more insidious. It creeps in like a virus, infecting one cell at a time. That small mistake you dismiss as trivial, that's where it begins. Every cutting word, every failure you brush aside acts like a drop of poison in the bloodstream of your mental stability. Keep ignoring it and you'll see where it leads. Isolating yourself? Smart move. If your goal is to self-destruct, keep convincing yourself that others can't understand, that your misery is some unique art only you can craft. The farther you push away those who care, the more you lock yourself in an empty cage. And there's nothing poetic about that. Then there's the myth of comparison, a race with rules made by someone else. You always feel like a failure compared to others, don't you? Lost in your own despair, measuring yourself against the filtered lives on social media. Their fake success doesn't even give you a moment's peace. Stop watching their clock. Measure your time. Perfectionism? That's self-sabotage in disguise. Every mistake feels catastrophic, every minor failure a death sentence for your self-worth. But let me tell you this, every time you stop to cry over trivial matters, the world moves on without you. Perfection, after all, is just an illusion you inject into yourself to feel better while you self-destruct. And control? If you think mastering every detail will save you, prepare for a spectacular failure. The harder you try to control the uncontrollable, the more you realize it's all a facade. You can't steer the wind. Try letting go now and then. You might be surprised by how liberating it feels. This isn't a game. Every step toward despair is invisible but devastating. Take a deep breath and pause before it's too late. Don't ignore the signs. Good luck. In the middle of the journey of our life, I found myself in a dark wood, for the straight way was lost. That's how Dante described it, and sooner or later, each of us will face that cursed forest. Hope will feel fragile, and certainty will fade like morning mist. Life isn't a linear path. Every step forward is an act of rebellion, every fall a bitter, desperate laugh. As for Mia, I saw her years later, her face lined with the scars of battles fought in these shadowed lands. She had spent years wrestling with herself, cycling through therapists, psychiatrists, self-proclaimed gurus, and motivational speakers, trying to find her way back. Through a smile and an embrace, she told me, "We are seeds buried in the dark earth. We don't know what shape we'll take, whether we'll grow strong and bloom or vanish into nothingness. But in the darkness, something stirs. Perhaps it's the root slowly pushing toward the light. We can't see it, we can't feel it, but it's happening. And when we finally see the sky, it will be a different sky, a storm or a calm. It won't matter. It won't be perfect, it won't be eternal, but that's the beauty of life. It's what makes it poetic."